Nietzsche was obsessed with Dostoevsky. He stumbled across Notes from the Underground completely by accident in a bookshop in Nice. He was so impressed by it that he wrote to a friend saying that Dostoevsky was the only psychologist he'd ever learned anything from. Not a professional psychologist, not a philosopher, a novelist who'd died about 6 years prior. And here's why it matters so much, because Dostoevsky and Nietzsche are often uttered in the same sentence, but people don't tend to expand why. I think it's because they were both obsessed with the same idea, the question of what happens to humans in the absence of God, when the whole structure that gave life meaning suddenly crumbles and there's nothing underneath it. Well, I think Dostoevsky looks at this question and says that's what produces the underground person. The bitter, the paralyzed, the resentful person who overthinks everything and can't connect with anyone. Nietzsche basically read that and thought, yes, exactly, that's the problem I'm trying to solve. Because his whole answer is, okay, God is dead, so you either collapse into nihilism or you build your own values from scratch. You become someone who doesn't need that external validation or permission to exist. But here's the crazy thing, and the thing that I think Nietzsche was so flawed by when he picked up Dostoevsky. Whilst Nietzsche was working through these ideas and before he'd fully established them, Dostoevsky had already written and published a novel where someone had tried to live them. In Crime and Punishment, you have Raskolnikov, who thinks that extraordinary people are above ordinary moral law. And so when he kills someone to try and prove it, it destroys him, not because he gets caught, but because the guilt doesn't care about his personal philosophies, because he was wrong about himself. And in that novel, Dostoevsky is almost writing a rebuttal to Nietzsche's arguments before he's even aired them, saying that you can't just build your own morality from scratch. It doesn't actually work like that with the human conscience. Nietzsche read it, understood it, but still disagreed somewhat with Dostoevsky. He thought that going back to Christ, going back to love and faith, that was just a weakness. In essence, running back to the exact thing you're trying to escape. Despite how often they're associated, they never actually met. Dostoevsky died before Nietzsche even knew his name. Somehow they had this sort of dialogue across the years and beyond the grave, and it became one of the most important arguments for the following 2 centuries. But what I find really interesting about this relationship is there is no resolution. Dostoevsky says, look at what happens when you try to live without God. Nietzsche says, look what happens when you don't let go of him. And that argument is still prevalent today.